Hey guys, it is me, Jeanette, aka Sweet Jean. I hope you can hear me okay. It is Friday and I decided to put on some makeup. Not that I'm going anywhere, but I like playing with makeup, so that's why I look like this. And I just realized I'm trying to perfect my eyebrow game because I don't have any hair. I don't have any eyebrows, so these are drawn on. And I always have this eye higher than this eye. But looking at myself in the viewfinder, this eye is more droopier than this eye. And for a lot of you that don't know, I did have Bell's palsy 8-9 years ago. I woke up one day, it was Christmas Eve, and I woke up with it, and it lasted about a month, 4 weeks, and then it went away. Thank God, because sometimes those things last forever or take longer to go away. But I feel like in Bell's palsy, half your face, the nerves in your face are paralyzed, and so it causes your face to droop. And so even though I don't have it anymore, I think I still have some residual nerves that are still somewhat affected, because I notice that when I'm chewing or when I'm smiling or even when I'm not smiling, that this side looks a little bit different. This side looks different than this side. Like, I feel like this side is more droopier and this one's more lifted. But anyhow, I just little things that I notice that some people don't even notice, and some people do notice and they wonder, but they just don't want to ask. So anyhow, I'm here for an update. The last video I had was me explaining that the doctor was going to be giving me a break, a couple weeks, because my body was just not doing well. And I wrote a couple notes here, so I'm going to be looking down at my notes a little bit in case you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm looking at my notes. So early July we did take a break from chemo. The chemotherapy that I was on is called Enhertu, and then I was also on a bone strengthener called Zometa, and I was also given Neulasta, which is a device that sticks to you, and there's like a little sharp, like, not needle, I think it's more like a catheter, and then it administers medication, and that's to help boost white blood cells, and that's called Enhertu. It administers 24 hours after chemo, and then you remove it, and there's a little window that tells you full or empty. So when it's empty, it starts to beep, and then you peel it off, throw it away. So they gave me a break from that. They did give me one last shot in the arm to help boost my red blood cells, because my red blood cells are always low. I'm anemic. And what else? Neulasta, Zometa, and Enhertu, and red blood cell injection. Yeah. So my energy slowly but surely started to pick up. I was always very fatigued and weak, and I had to keep continuing to take breaks while walking because I felt like I was going to collapse. Well, that all started to improve throughout the days and throughout the weeks. I was having rapid weight loss, which in my last appointment, which was just about a week and a half ago maybe, I gained 9 pounds back, because since I wasn't on the chemo, my appetite picked up, and I needed to I realized I needed to try and control what I ate, because I am diabetic. I consider myself borderline because my numbers have always been, I had one instance where my number was really high, and I had just eaten like a biscuit with jelly and a big old orange juice, and my numbers were really high, so they were really worried. And but ever since then, my numbers went back down, and I started to have a really strict diet as far as carbs are concerned, so my numbers went down and have stayed down, and this has been over a year. I think, I'm trying to think how long I've been diagnosed. My memory is bad. I don't even know if it's been a year or coming up to 2 years. But slowly but surely I started to implement a little bit of more carbs in my meals. You're allowed so many carbs a day, like, or carbs a meal, that are fine for people who have their diabetes under control. And so I do have sometimes a sandwich with white bread instead of whole wheat grain. But if I have to choose, I won't eat bread. I'll just make something else, or eliminate the bread altogether and just eat, like, say, a hamburger. When my mom makes hamburgers, I'll just eat the patty with the lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, mustard, or whatever, and I'll eat it with a fork. I mean, I've done that a few times. But if my numbers are really good that day, then I might just have the bread. But anywho, this video isn't about that. As you guys know, if you've been here for a while, you know I can ramble on and on and on, and I get sidetracked really easily. Let me see. My shakiness, I still have a little bit of shakiness, like in my hands, but I could tell that the chemo symptoms were the ones that were making me fatigued, tired, out of breath, not wanting to get up and do anything because I was running through energy so quickly, and so it was just not well. And so now I still have my neck pain and my back pain from the surgery, which is controlled with medication. And I'm not able to pick up like heavy things because of my neck, my surgery. So I still have that, but as far as feeling fatigued and tired and all that, that has subsided for the most part, because I'm off of the chemo. And so anybody who comes off of chemo, they start feeling better, even though something could be going on within their body. But without the chemo, you feel better, because chemo essentially is a poison. It poisons and kills cancer cells and the cancer cells around it. And sometimes, it takes a toll on you. So it was taking a toll on me. Let's see. On the 17th of July, I celebrated my son's birthday. We had a birthday party. I posted a picture of him with a big, huge smile. We went to go have pizza at this local place that has like really huge pizzas. And I posted a picture of him in the community tab. I might post some pictures at the end of this video. It just depends on how I feel and how late it gets, because I did want to have this video up today, because I did say I was going to have it up at the end of the week. So it just depends on how quickly I can get it all together and upload it and download it and all that. So yeah, so we celebrated my son's birthday, and he had like genuine biggest smile that just like could bring tears to a mother's eyes, and filled my heart with joy, knowing that for those moments he was truly, truly happy. I'm getting upset because, one, I'm an emotional person. Always have been. Secondly, my son, he was my only one, and so I spoiled him. I never want him to go without, even if it meant that I went without. I'd rather he had than me, because he didn't have a dad. He didn't have like a real father figure, really. Um, and he's just misunderstood a lot of the times. And he feels alone and he feels lonely and he feels like nobody's on his side. And so to see him like have these moments of happiness um, is few and far between. So I'm happy that he was happy that day. Anywho, sorry about that. Let me see. We did go on a camping trip a week after that. And that's a little hiccup that I was talking about in my community tab. I took all my medication, and one of the medications is called lactulose, and it's supposed to help with ammonia levels. And I kind of like misread. I thought that it helped eliminate the ammonia or like lower the ammonia levels. I thought that was like one of the primary things it did, and the secondary thing that it did was help you have a bowel movement. I didn't realize that the primary was to help you have a bowel movement, and the bowel movements are what is cleaning out the ammonia from your system. And if you don't go, then the ammonia's backing up and staying in your body, and that's what causes the dementia. At least in my case, I can't speak for anybody else. So I was out there. I said, okay, I'm off of the chemo. I have more energy. I want to go have some memories with my family, because it's quite a bit of family that go out. We try to do it every year. It's kind of like a family reunion type thing. You know, sometimes people can't go or family members can't go, and we understand, you know, work and things come up. So anyhow, I went out there, had a good time. First day, I was drinking my medication, and it got really watery because I had it in the tent, and it's a liquid that I drink. And then I hadn't gone to the bathroom, so then I said maybe the heat is doing something to the medicine, or it's messing with the chemistry of the medication. So we had a little refrigerator out there, so I went ahead and put it in the refrigerator, and then I would go and get some when I was supposed to from the fridge. And then it got really thick, like molasses, like real thick. And so I'm like, okay, is this... And I still wasn't going. I didn't have the feeling to go, so I wasn't constipated. I just wasn't going. And then on the then I was having trouble at night opening and closing the zipper whenever I had to go to the bathroom. We have this tent, this singular little tent. It's like 4 feet by 3 feet, and it's for, you can either put a hose on top for a shower, or you could put like a commode, like a camper commode. So what we have it set up as a restroom. So we have the chair with the toilet seat, and then we have this bucket under, and then we put a little bit of water and pine sol, and it's only for number one. And then there's a trash can, because we don't put paper in there. We put the paper, the used paper, in the trash can. And then, you know, every day or every other day, someone goes and throws the paper in the dumpster and dumps the whatever out into the middle of the, not the middle, but deep into like the forest, or not the forest, but you know what I mean, like the wooded area. So anyways, I was having trouble opening the tent zipper, and sometimes zippers get stuck, or like there's a little flap like that goes over the zipper, like to help with like if it rains or like moisture. Anyways, me and my sister were sharing a tent, and I kept not being able to open it, and I was getting frustrated because I needed to go number one, and I needed to go to the bathroom. So then finally my sister was like, what's the matter? Because she heard me fussing, and I go, I can't get the zipper open, it's stuck. So then she gets up and zoop, right away she opens it, and I'm like, golly, there must be like a trick to it or something. Like maybe you have to hold it taut one way and then pull it the other way, or maybe you have to hold the flap down and pull it while you're pulling the other, you know, zipping the other way. I don't know. So I was having trouble doing that, And then my mom noticed that when I was eating, I was standing there in front of the food because my mom made, we have a grill or like a skillet or a grill or whatever. And so we made like scrambled eggs with potatoes, and then we had bacon, and then my mom made tortillas and homemade out there camping, I know. And so I was standing there and I was like, do I put the eggs first? Should I put the bacon and then the eggs? And then I'm like confused. Like, and it shouldn't be that way. I should just go grab a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, grab a tortilla, go sit down and eat. And I was just standing there like, okay, let me get, no, and so my mom noticed. And I just thought I was being like picky or like, because sometimes I try to think, okay, who's eaten, who hasn't eaten. Like, want to make sure that everybody's eaten or that there's enough there for everybody to have. I've always been considerate in that way. And so I don't know. So my mom kind of was just like looking at me, observing me, which I didn't know she was doing. And then on the third day, I think it was the third day. No, the second night, I went to the bathroom and everybody was going to bed. And so I was like, okay, I told my son I'm going to go to the bathroom and then I'm going to go lay down and I'm going to go to sleep too. So I go to the tent, and then coming out, I trip and I fall to the ground, and I scrape my knee, I scrape my calf, I scrape my thigh. And I couldn't get up. And there was like all this, sticks, dry little things coming out of the ground and dirt and leaves and all that. And I couldn't get up. So I had to call out for him. And I'm like, Dime. And he's coming, and then, he's with the flashlight because it's dark. We're out camping and all the lights are pretty much out. And then I'm like, don't be mad. Before he gets to me, right? He's halfway to me. He's like, what? I'm like, don't be mad. He goes, where are you? And I'm like, I'm right here in by the restroom. He's like, where? I go, down here. And then he puts the flashlight down. And he's like, oh my God, Mom, I didn't see you on the floor, blah, blah, blah. You need to be careful. I don't know why you're careful. I'm like, oh yeah, like I did on purpose. So anyways, I fell out of there. And then the next night, I was even more confused. And I couldn't get my shoes on, my flip-flops. I don't know. I just couldn't get them on, and I was frustrated because I need to go pee, and I can't walk to the restroom barefoot. And so I kept on fussing with my shoes. And then I just started crying, like howling, crying, like I couldn't hold it in. And my sister wakes up. She goes, what's the matter? And I go, I can't put my damn shoes on. Like, I'm confused. And she was like, she flashes the flashlight. She's like, the one in your right hand goes on your left foot. No, turn it around. No, turn it around. And I'm like looking at the shoe, and I mean, I'm sure it took all of her to not get up and like help me. She was like wanting me to do it myself. Like, no, you got it. You listen to what I'm saying. And the one in your left hand goes on your right foot. Turn it around. No, you have it facing you. You need to face away from. I'm like, okay. And then I get up and I'm trying to unzip the tent, and I can't unzip it. And I'm like, start crying again. And she goes, what's the matter? I go, I can't open the tent. So I'm going to have to pee, and if I don't get it open now, I'm going to pee on myself. So then she gets up and she hurries up and she unzips it. And this is like 3 in the morning. So then I'm walking with my flashlight to the restroom, to the little tent that we have in our campsite, which is across. Like, I have to walk quite a ways to get there. Not quite a ways, but my tent was deep in our little area, our campsite. And that tent was closer to the entrance area of the campsite. So I had a little ways to walk, and I had to walk past 2 tables and some folding out chairs, and the table and the refrigerator and blah blah blah. And so then I'm trying to unzip it, and I can't unzip it, and I'm trying and then I hear my mom. She's like, Mija, what are you doing? Because she had her dogs with her and they were barking, and it woke her up. And she's like, what are you doing? And I said, I can't unzip it. And she goes, and why do you want to unzip it? And I go, I need to go pee. She goes, it's to your right. And I didn't realize that I was trying to get into her tent, which was next to the restroom. And so she goes, it's on the right. So I go to the right side of her tent, and I'm feeling around like for the zipper, and I can't find it because the zipper's where I was. And I'm like feeling, and she goes, hold on. And she gets out of her tent and she walks me over to the restroom, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know where I'm at now. So I go in there, and it takes me forever to like do what I have to do, pee, get toilet paper, and put it in the trash. And like I was so confused, and it took me a while because I'm holding like, where do I put this? Should I do this first? Pick up my underwears and then put it in the trash, or put it in the trash first, pick up my underwear? Like I was having trouble, like the simplest things I couldn't do. And then she walked me all the way back to my tent, and in the morning they my parents had already packed up their tent and packed up their belongings, and they were already getting my stuff. And I woke up and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, we're going home. We're gonna take you home because you're not doing well. And I felt bad because my sister was going back and forth. Like that would have been like her third time going back to town, which is like an hour and a half drive to, and then an hour and a half drive back. And so I was like, what? And they're like, we're gonna take you home because if you have to go to the hospital, they're like, you're not doing well, you're confused, and if we have to take you to the hospital, we'd rather take you to the hospital here rather than over there, which is in Uvalde, because Uvalde doesn't have any of my records. And over here, the hospital knows me, and they have all my records, and they know my history, they know what I'm on, they know my medications and all that. And I felt really, really bad because I was inconveniencing people. Like, my parents cut their vacation short because of me, and my son doesn't care either way to be home or to be camping. As long as he's with me and is taking, he's keeping an eye on me, he doesn't care. And then I felt bad for my sister because, like I said, that would have been her third time. Like, she can't enjoy herself because of me. I was part of her not being able to enjoy herself. Like, like, here I am, another bother. So I came home. I was taking I opened up a new bottle because I thought maybe I messed that bottle up with the heat and then with the cold. I opened up a new bottle, started taking medication, and my mom's like, we're going to keep an eye on you. We're going to give you about an hour or two. We're going to check up on you. Because I told her I just want to lay down in the coolness, because over there in camping I was so hot. So hot because you don't have AC and you're sleeping in a tent. You're uncomfortable. And then plus I wasn't getting any sleep. So that messed with my concentration, I guess, maybe. I know I wasn't going to the bathroom, and then when I got home and I rested for a little bit and I was drinking water and I drank my medication, and I finally was able to have a BM. Actually, I had a couple, and so that took all the ammonia out of me, and then I started to see more clearly and feel more clearly and not be confused. So I got myself out of it without having to go to the hospital, and I finally came back to normal thinking and not confused. So I have to continue. I have to tell my doctor. Well, let me see. So at the end of July, so we came home. I got better. So then towards the end of July, we took my mom to the movies to go see Where the Crawdads Sing, which we had already read the book. I read it years and years ago. My mom, it's one of my mom's favorite books, and we went to go see it, and then we went to go eat, and that was at the end of July. I was feeling better. I had my energy. Of course, I don't have my strength, but I had my energy, and the fatigue was not anything the way it was before. Then I went in, I had a CT scan, and then my gums started to bleed. My gums bleed every so often. I was hospitalized one time because my gums wouldn't stop bleeding, and it wasn't dental related. It was like a hematology issue, but they don't know what's causing it, so they don't know how to fix it. The only thing they could do is prescribe me medication that helps clot open, like blood. You know, it helps clot the blood. I went to go see my doctor to get back on the chemo and get my labs, and my CT took over my CT. So my CT was stable, everything was stable. She says, as a matter of fact, the tumor that you have in your lung looks like it might have shrunk just a tad bit, but everything is stable, so you're doing okay. She goes, the issue is that your red blood cells, your platelets are really low. And I told her it was because of the bleed, and I was still bleeding. And she looked in my mouth, and I had like a thick paper towel cut. I ripped it into like a rectangle, and then I like stuffed it in my tooth, like to cradle my tooth, like to try and help clot it. So when she looked at my mouth, she was like, how long has this been going on? And I said a couple of days. But there's nothing that I could do, and nobody knows what to, what's causing it. And so they prescribed me medication, which is Amcar. So she says, okay, well, we're gonna hold off chemo for 2 more weeks because your blood is really low, and your bilirubin is still elevated, and it's not the chemo because you haven't been on chemo for a month. So everything points to my liver, which is worrisome because I don't need to have anything going on with my liver more than what's already going on with it. Like, I already have cirrhosis of the liver, non-alcoholic, and I have fatty liver, and then I also have some tumors in my liver. And so the bilirubin is elevated, and it shouldn't be, and it has to do with the liver function. And the bleeding is causing me to have low red blood cells and platelets. So I'm bleeding because I don't have it, so it's thinning my blood, so I'm easier to bleed, something like that. So then she ordered the Amicar, which is the thing that you gargle with, and it's supposed to help clot. And is my camera moving? I don't even know. And so she called that in, and they called me to tell me, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and order your Amicar, but we do want to let you know that it's gonna be $1,200. So we'll call you when we order it and when it comes in. I'm like, wait, hold on, wait, what? No, I don't have $1,000 for a bottle this big with liquid that I gargle with, and I could either drink it or spit it out. And so I'm like, I had this a few years back, and it cost like 80 something dollars, between $60 and $80, I don't remember, and I got it there. And she says, oh, okay, well, let me look it up. And she was like, okay, well, what you got was a compound. If you want, we could make it in-house instead of ordering it, and that'll be cheaper. It'll be, $100 or less. I said, okay, well then, yes, do that. I mean, I can't pay $1,000. I'm on a fixed income, and that's like all my money, And so then they call me, and they're like, we don't have all the components to make this compound for you. We have to order it, and it's gonna be $150. So she was like, a little bit more, than what we expected, but it's $150. And I'm like, and then at this time the bleeding had kind of subsided, so it was like, what's the shelf life on it? And she's like 30 to 60 days, just depending. because it expires quickly, you know, like it doesn't, you can't hold it and save it for like 3 months, 6 months. It's not gonna be effective. So I'm like, no, no, don't make it yet. If I start to have like a heavier bleed, or if it starts to bleed again, then I'll call you guys and I'll try to figure out somehow to pay this, you know, $150 for the medication. But I don't want to order it yet because the bleeding has stopped, and I don't want it, the potency to not be 100% by the time I need to use it. And so she was like, okay. So let me see, what else did I put? I can't even read my own writing. I think that's pretty much wraps up my month. I did see my doctor. It's a new doctor, and that's the one that, you know, went over my scans and my CT. And I forgot to tell her about the lactulose. It's not effective. I'm sure there's other therapies out there that'll help me go on a daily basis, because that lactulose, it's like very, 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 very gentle, and it doesn't make me go once a day. It makes me go once every 2 to 3 days, which I need to be going like a normal person, you know, more than once a day, possibly. I know this is TMI, but I don't like to sugarcoat anything, and I want to be truthful 100% in case other people with the same issues and as me, and has cancer like me, and you know, they're wondering like, oh well, she didn't have this issue and I'm having this. No, you're supposed to have a BM like 2 to 3 times a day. In the morning when you wake up, usually you go, you know, after you eat a few hours, then you go again, and then if you have dinner, then an hour or two, then you go again. Like up to 3 times a day is like normal. And I'm not going but once every 3 days. And then that's why I'm getting the backed up ammonia. And that's why I'm getting delirious and confused. So I bought, I have the pills over there, but it's like a laxative. It's a pill, and I've been taking it every day, and it's making me go once a day. And if I don't take it, I don't go. So I'm going to let her know that I need another therapy for making me go as a prescription, or I could just keep taking those if they're safe to take every day. I mean, it says 1 to 3 a day, daily pills, and I've only been taking one because I don't want to overdo it, but at the same time I need to go. Anyhow, if I can, I'll add some pictures from things that have been going on throughout the month if you guys are interested. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up the video here. Maximum file size. Okay, so I gotta go. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.